This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast. I am still excited from last week's toughest mudder in Los Angeles, and it is already time for Tough Mudder in Phoenix coming up this weekend. We're going to have a course walkthrough and a preview of Phoenix with Cassie Harris later this week. On today's show...
What's up, kiddies? This is Drake.
Drake Stumbough. But before we talk about Drake, thank you for leaving a review on iTunes. Like WTM Fanatic did. Stellar podcast. 5 stars. Love this podcast. Great information. Can't wait for the next Tough Mudder. Or Honey Badger Sean. If you listen, you will be ready. 5 stars. I listened to multiple episodes on my drive to Toughest LA and was fully prepared for the event as a result. Sitting in LA traffic has never been so fun, and the time has never passed quicker. Whether you have never done a mudder or a longtime Legionnaire, this podcast is super informative and fun to listen to. Looking forward to the next 8 months leading up to Worlds. Or Andrew in DC. Great source of information. 5 stars. Will is a fantastic host. He gets great guests and discusses everything you'd want to know about Tough Mudder. From who placed at toughest events to strategies to course overviews, he covers it all. A worthwhile listen. Or Baja Hunter. How much tough could a toughest mudder tough? 5 stars. Loving the podcast. Great job. Only request, change the intro song to Keith Allen's How Much Tough song. That's an idea, Baja Hunter. Thank you very much. If you'd like to leave a review, go to iTunes. Search for Tough Mudder. We are the first podcast that pops up. Click on ratings and reviews and write something. It'll take you literally 20 seconds, depending on your typing skills. But seriously, those people who have left reviews so far, thank you so much. It's very kind. I sincerely appreciate it. Also, people come up to me at Toughest Mudder, and they said, hey, love the podcast. Some guy ran past me, tapped me on the shoulder, said, love the podcast, kept running past me. I never saw his face. I have no idea who that guy was. But I appreciate the kind words. On today's show, Drake Stumbough. Before there was Coach or E-Rock, Drake was one of the first characters I met at Tough Mudder. He wears his hard hat to every race. He carries a boombox with him a lot of the time. He is a big hugger. You might have seen him at Toughest LA, working media for Obstacle Racing Media for our friend Matt B. Davis, friend of the show. You can see his videos at obstacleracingmedia.com, or he's posted a lot of them in the World's Toughest Mudder community group. He also has his own group. Not his group, but he moderates a group called World's Toughest Mudder 2017 for people who are confirmed as attendees at this year's race. You can check that out on Facebook. As I turned on the microphone when I was talking to Drake, we were in the middle of a conversation about Battle Frog and the World's Toughest Mudder 2017 group that he works with on Facebook. Let's talk to Drake Stumbough.
Well, you can see the difference. I mean, even with Battle Frog, God rest its soul, you know, rest in peace and all that. But I mean, and it was such a great race. It was too bad that it ended because it was so technical, so much more upper body, and such a great brand. But the problem is that it didn't have the polish that Tough Mudder has, you know?
Yeah.
Like Tough Mudder is a brand that's polished. It's been around for a while. They've been doing this for a long time. It's very professional. When you go there, it's like now they got everything down to a science. Like even registering and getting your bib number and all that stuff goes pretty quick. All the volunteers know where to go. The little village area is really nice. It's very nice and organized and all that, and the obstacles are very well done, you know. So that's what I love about Tough Mudder is that everything is really dialed in, and they've got a good handle on safety. which I am very, very keen on. And being a construction superintendent, that's something I'm always looking for. And you can see on some of the other races that safety is not such a concern, and that's it's really sad, really, because you want your customers to come back, and you don't want anybody to get hurt. So, and I'll be the first to admit, it's not as cool as the main community group. So if you had to choose between 2017 and the community group, I'd definitely go with the community group. It's just the 2017 group is a little smaller. But anyway,
give it a plug, man. It's like 700 people, I think, or so.
Yeah, and we're just really we just really take the time to make sure that people are serious about World's Toughest. They got to be registered. We got to see their registration. I just get so tired of people saying they're going to do things and they don't do it. It's a very big problem, especially here in Southern California, because that's all people do. I can't stand our culture and how people are just so afraid to tell people what's up, and just say, dude, I can't make it. Instead of that, people go, oh, well, I'll make it, and they just don't show up or they don't call. I'm just so over that,
Yeah.
So, like, you were in the group all last year, right?
Yeah.
The 2017 group.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I post all my videos, my training videos, and my little tips and my goofy ass shit and, blah, blah, blah. But I was always telling people, when it was September, late September and October, I'm like, this is not the time to do something new, kids. This is not the time to do something new, kiddies. This is the time to train smart, not hard. Kick back on the mileage. What you've done now, you've done. Just like you said. Those podcasts, and I'm so glad you're doing this because it's great. Because those other podcasts are like, oh yeah, World's Toughest Mudder, and people are like, okay, time to train. No, it's not time to train. It's time to be smart. It's time to be strategic in your training, and get that cold weather training in, and maybe do a night ops. But you want to do that at the beginning of the month, not at the end of the month. I saw so many people. Like especially not this past year, but the year before last. I saw a little bit of it last year, this past season too. But all those people that just pushed it so hard, they didn't do so well. Mm-hmm. And I try to tell them, I'm like, you're gonna have a bad time. You need to chill, kick back. But they're just so focused. They think they know better, and that's the thing about Worlds. Worlds doesn't care about you. Worlds doesn't care about how much you've trained. It cares about whether or not you respect the course, and I think that's important, And it's always funny to see, like, now last year, the cold that we had to endure. Last year was a freebie, and I tell this to everyone that was for last year, that was their first year in 2016. Last year was a freebie. We should not have been that well off. It was,
as far as how warm it was.
Oh yeah, like the obstacles were definitely tougher, a lot more technical obstacles, but the warm air. I mean, it was super warm. Like, you did not need to put on too much, to make it through, and that's the thing that people underestimate is the cold, and it always surprises me. Like, even it surprises me when I see people from the Midwest or Canada that'll come out and they underestimate the cold. They think, oh, it's a desert, it's hot. Well, it's hot during the day, but it's cold, and it gets cold really quick at night. You're going in and out of that water. It's getting really cold. It's gonna freeze you up.
That got me this year because 2 years ago it was super cold, and there were a lot of people dropping because they didn't put their wetsuits on soon enough.
Yeah.
And so this year I was like, well, I'm putting mine on, after my, first, second lap. I'm not going to get too cold. And I got too hot. It was, it threw me off this year because of the temperature.
See, I was forced to do a lot of hot weather training because my course that I do is in Agoura Hills. Do you know where that's at?
Oh, by LA?
Yes, it's just north of LA on the 101, and it's a place called Cheseboro Canyon, and I have a legitimate replica of the course. It's a 5-mile loop, and it's got 850 feet of elevation gain. It just doesn't have the obstacles. So that canyon gets pretty damn hot in the summer. In fact, one day I rolled up to it, and I didn't even look at my temperature gauge on my car, and I roll up to the parking lot. I'm like, why isn't anybody here? And I look down, and it says it was 107.
Jeez.
But the cool thing about SoCal is if it's hot here, you just go to the beach, which is 20 miles away, and it was 79 degrees over there. So no big deal. So, but yeah, it was a lot hotter this year. So a lot of people, it surprised a lot of people, but in turn, it helped a lot of people get those brown bibs.
Drake, tell me about your first World's Toughest Mudder.
Oh, my first Worlds. Oh, it was a magical experience. Now, it's funny because I didn't really research a lot of stuff about Worlds. I was just so excited because they changed the venue to Vegas in June. And I'd been doing a lot more stuff, and my training at the time was all about CrossFit, which I love CrossFit. I wish I could still do it, but I only have so much time now, so I spend my time running. Because now I know if you got to choose between CrossFit and running for Worlds, you want to do running. See, that's what I learned about on my first Worlds is that I did no running, zero trail miles, none. I did some hiking here and there, and I just did a ton of CrossFit, which was great for the upper body strength and getting through those obstacles and stuff, but it did not do me any justice on the course itself. So, and the other thing that sucked was that I got into the community group literally 2 weeks before the race,
right?
And I didn't know how to navigate the group, and I'm like looking at all the posts, and I'm like, is that guy really serious? Do we not need wetsuits? I mean, there were so many trolls. I wasn't used to the level of trolling on the community group. I was like, what do I do? And I didn't want to be that guy that went, I don't get it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I guess I'll just figure it out. And I don't know if you saw it, but I posted in the group last year. I posted a picture of my gear that I took on my first Worlds, and it was basically, it took up my whole living room. My living room's pretty big. Yeah. It's like 22 feet by 13 feet. I literally filled it with just a bunch of stuff. It was just ridiculous. I had a tent in there. I had like 324 packs of this Verve energy drink, and I had some other like protein powder stuff, and I had my cat was in there somewhere. I just had all this stuff. I had and I only had like 2 pairs of shoes, and one pair was these $20 cheapies, right? That I'd always done my races with, and then the other ones were these were the Spartan sprint shoes that I got from Reebok that I thought they were super cool, right? Yeah. So it was like I got just tore up on that course, bro. I was not prepared. I had 2 wetsuits, so I didn't get cold. That was good. Right. Because it was cold. The sandstorm was nuts, dude. It was ridiculous. And I ended up rolling my ankle at like lap 3. And I waited for people, which, I mean, if you're going to wait for people, that's cool. But for me, at Worlds now, it's like you're either with me or you're not. I expect the same from other people. Like, if I can't keep up with you, like Luigi, my boy Luigi, who I love to death, he couldn't keep up with me at 2015. I had to leave him behind. But then in 2016, he came in with a vengeance, and he ended up like just going. Yeah. So I couldn't keep up with him. So, and I just tell everybody, whoever's around me, I'm like, that's cool. We can hang out, whatever. But, if I can't keep up with you, go. And if you can't keep up with me, I'm going to go, because I'm not waiting around. I learned about that on 2014 because I stayed too long in the pit, and I only ended up getting 30 miles, which probably wasn't a bad thing considering I rolled my ankle and I ended up walking out of Worlds with a boot on my foot.
Oh, wow.
So, it was a painful experience, like really painful. I was in that boot for like 2 months. But that's because I didn't do any trail miles. I don't even remember where I rolled it. I rolled it somewhere on the third lap because that's when it started hurting.
Right.
But because I didn't do any trail miles, which I am very thankful for my course in Chesapeake Canyon that I do. It's got all the rocks and same kind of textures as the course in Vegas. So that doesn't affect me anymore. I can roll my ankle all day long, but I'm used to it, But before, I wasn't used to it. So I literally limped my sorry ass over that finish line, and I just fell over. There's a video out there somewhere of my daughter laughing at me, my little 6-year-old daughter laughing at me and going, ah, as I fall over face first. And I got my hard hat on, of course. My family got to see me finish, and all I wanted, I was, of course, wanted the 50-mile bib, but that wasn't the real goal. The real goal for me was getting my headband, my 24-hour headband.
The black headband.
I'm wearing one right now. I got 4 of them.
Right.
I got an extra one. But every year I always get that black headband, and that's always such a very it's always been a very important thing to me, just because I just I feel like that's a huge thing for me. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. And that, of course, that also too, the first year was where I hit the wall. I hit the wall hard, and I was suffering suffering bad. There's another photo of me at the top of Hell's Ladder where you see my orange hard hat. I'm in the middle of the two, there's the 2 planks, and my arms are just draped straight down, and I'm literally just sleeping there. I'm like just done, but I kept going, and I think that's something that also people don't respect and they don't understand, is the level of suck that you have to endure. Like, I was just talking to Ken Marine. I met him up at Whistler when I went snowboarding the other week, and he was telling me about his first experience at Worlds, and he was crushing it. He was on track to get 75 miles easy. And what happened to him was at about 4 a.m., he hit that suck level. He'd never felt that before. He had never been exposed to the level of suffering before. So he just, nope, I'm out of here. And he just walked off course. That's why it's so important that you do those night op trainings. You do those late, training sessions where you're pushing your limits. It's just so important. And I strongly recommend that, those that can get, organize night op exercises with, Tough Mudders and, World's Tough, other World's Toughest Mudder brothers and sisters in their area, not only to train, but to bond with them, because our WTM brothers and sisters that go through that with us, we have a very strong bond, like my boy Robert Luciano, he's like my brother. He's like my older brother. He's a badass, dude. We went through the sandstorm together in 2014. That guy means the world to me. He's a badass. We got a super strong bond. Me and Luigi, same thing. We went through 2015 together. And then there's Daniel Villarreal. He's awesome, dude. And we spent time training in October together. He went to my night ops, my special night ops training at my top secret training ground.
Right.
And we also did our last few laps at Worlds last year together. And Brett the Tank. I've finished 2015 with him and 2016 with him. You know, and that's the other thing is that people look at this as just another race, but it's more than that. And that's the thing that I didn't get when I first came in. I was like, when you do this race and you're out there suffering with all those different people, you bond with them like no other bond. I just can't say enough good things about it, and that's why I always wear my headband, you know. And some people think I'm showing off, some people think I'm crazy, some people, you know, I just love the race, and I love everything about it. I love everything there is in it to be about World's Toughest Mudder. It's just my favorite race. It's everything I want to associate with.
How did you do this year?
This year was tough for a few different reasons. I should have trained more. I did a lot of running. I didn't do any upper body work at all. Mm-hmm. So, and my schedule's been very hellish at work. Even running, my running suffered a little bit too. So I was hoping to maybe do some Insanity, the Insanity workout program.
Sure.
To, you know, fit that in, because I didn't have time to do CrossFit and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. Just didn't have the time. Just couldn't do it, you know. And but so and I wasn't watching my diet. I was I was about 50 pounds overweight, and about at least 25 pounds heavier than the previous Worlds. When I did Worlds in 2015, I was clocking it at about 232, and I'm 5'9", and I should not have been 232 at all. And so Backstabber was not my friend at all.
So I was on the TV show for like 1 second at Backstabber, nice. Right? And I was like, awesome. It was one of those terrible times. It was probably the morning after, like 10 o'clock in the morning, and the 1 second of national TV time I'm on, it says, and people can't get through without help from each other. And like I'm like struggling, and I look super fat, and like I'm like, thanks a lot, CBS. Oh, it's terrible. Like, you didn't even want to like tell people. Oh,
dude, who cares? Seriously, you were out there doing it.
That Backstabber was brutal this year.
Yeah, it was. But seriously, you shouldn't feel bad about that at all. You should be like, I'm very proud of doing Worlds. You know, even though I was fat, it's okay.
I think just showing up is a win. I mean, showing up is a win, and then getting 24 hours is a win. And if you finish a lap, then you're ahead of 99% of the people in the world. So
yeah, and I did what I said I was gonna do. 2015, I got my first 50 bib, and then last year I got it again. And I told everybody, hey, this train may not go 1,000,000 miles per hour, but it's steady and it ain't fucking slowing down. And it's gonna get there and get it done. So if you want to jump on the train with me, we'll go get our 50-mile bibs together.
What did you think of the course?
It was tough, dude. I thought they did a great job. There was a lot of new obstacles, like Kong. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Double Rainbow was very scary at first, but then, after I saw people go through it, I'm like, great. And when we first, the first lap that we went through it on, I could have done it because it wasn't so wet. But the problem was I was so focused on the first one, the first bar, and I didn't wait till the other one came over. So I just grabbed it and I went over and I'm like, oh shit, the other bar's not there.
Oh no.
That's no good. And I just fell to my fell into the drink, and it was Matt Davis who was he's like, hey man, I saw you on Double Rainbow. That was pretty entertaining seeing a fat guy try and do that thing and fall fucking go on the drink. I'm like, oh great, it's good to know I was entertaining somebody.
That's funny.
Gotta love Matt Davis.
Yeah,
he always says what's on his mind. It's all good though. It's all good. But yeah, the course was very very intense, man. It was a good course. Very good course. They did a great job.
How many regular Tough Mudders have you done?
I lost count. I probably shouldn't have done that because I'm probably pretty close to getting my 25 times banned.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got like a few more, and I got my 25 times banned. I'm at least 20 plus.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been doing Tough Mudder since 2011 when they did the first one in SoCal in May. Did you hear about that?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so the first Tough Mudder in SoCal was at a ski resort at just below Big Bear. It was called Snow Valley, and it was at the end of May, and they had some crazy cold front that came in, and at the end of it was really cold, and at the end of the day, it actually physically started snowing. So this is May 29th, but it started snowing on us, and it got really, really cold. But that was a very intense course, and you started out at the bottom of the ski resort, and it was like at 6,000 feet, and you go all the way up to the top, which was 7,000 feet, and it was just crushing us.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good, fun course, though, I gotta say, and that was my first experience with Tough Mudder, and I was super excited about it, and I couldn't wait to get on another course. So that later that year, at the end of the year, I did Temecula in I think November or October or whatever the heck it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've done like 2 or 3 every year since then, and I've done multiple laps at a lot of them. So
do you just stick to the Southern California courses, or do you travel at all?
I've traveled a few places. I've gone. My farthest I've ever gone for a Tough Mudder is Chicago, which was fun. Muddiest course. I couldn't believe how freaking muddy it was. And I mean, I've never been to Chicago before, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, I'm just a ignorant Southern California kid, and they're like, I land, and they're like, oh, yeah, you should have seen it like 6 days ago. There was 7 inches of snow on the ground. What? Huh? This is May, and it's all warm out when I get there, and I see all these people just running everywhere throughout Chicago. I'm like, why are there so many people out? And they're like, oh yeah, because it's warm.
Right. And
it's warm, people get out and they exercise. We're like here in Southern California, it's like today I went for a half marathon run this morning around my town. Mm-hmm. You know how many people I found? I found like maybe 3 other runners, and it was like, I'd say 75 degrees.
Nice day.
We're just spoiled here, you know, and just not used to going someplace with weather, you know, and just the whole weather thing is just, it's not for me. But yeah, Chicago was the furthest one I went to. I've done Tahoe several times. I've done, of course, Temecula several times. Did Lake Elsinore the last year. Mm-hmm. I've done Arizona once. And that's really it. Yeah, I don't really branch out too much.
What's your favorite of all those courses?
I have to go back to my first one, to Snow Valley. It was just, I've done that course every time it was there, and it was only there for 2 years. It was there for 2011 and 2012. And they, something to do with like the agreement between Tough Mudder and the ski resort, they had a falling out or something, so they didn't bring it back. But I just really loved that course. It was just tough. Mm-hmm. And they had a lot of areas where there's a lot of ponds throughout the course, because it's a ski resort, and the ski resorts in Southern California, you need water so you can feed the snow machines and all that. And there was just a bunch of lakes and stuff, just a lot of varied terrain. It was just really fun.
What's the best moment you've ever had at a Tough Mudder or World's Toughest?
You know what? I'd have to say the best moment I had, I mean, there's been a lot of them. Like, God, when they accidentally gave me the mic to tell people to go through EST last October.
I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Were you one of my poor little test subjects?
Oh man, I hate EST so much, and so I was just like kind of sneaking through on Frequent Flyer Club,
Yeah.
And so I was watching you. I was like, hey, from the top. I was like, hey, good job, man. And you're like, yeah. Come down here and show me how to do it. And I was like, yeah, Dad, no. And I tried to, so I jumped off, and then I was like sneaking around to go get my headband. And you sent Chris Betcher.
Yeah.
He was wearing like a dress. And you're like, go get that guy, go get him. And I'm like, he saw me. Yeah. So, yeah, good time.
That's awesome. I love it. Dude, I had so much fun doing that. Oh, my God. I've got so many videos of that. We had Daniel Kuvas, who is like Chris Betcher's best bud, taking videos of everything. And here I am, this crazy dude in an orange hard hat. I was so surprised at how everybody was like respecting my authority. Like if I would have saw some dude with an orange hard hat, I'd been like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna go do this over here. Like if I didn't know any better, I'd just be like, I'm out of here. But all these people, they like listened, and like some of them tried to go through it too soon. I'm like, hey, wait. Everybody needs to line up. Come on now. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Come on, guys, get over here. I mean, I had just so much fun. There was this cocky group of guys, and I'll never forget them. There were these bright green shirts. I can't remember what their name was, but anyway, there was like 12 of them. And I'm like, all right, let's get everybody lined up. All right. Okay, so we can do this regular style, or we can do it baller style. How are we doing this, guys? And there was one guy, baller style. I'm like, all right, everybody, lock arms right now. And then one guy blurts out, he's like, I don't want to die.
EST is scary, man. Your first time, it is a scary, scary obstacle.
Oh yeah, dude! And these guys went all locked arms all the way, and they went through like a quarter of it, and then they started like breaking up.
Right?
But they were yelling so loud, and they were so just like, just like it was awesome. And when they got through, I was like, look at my friend Chris with the dress; he'll give you strength. Chris is like egging him on. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's go. And then when they got through, I was so proud of them. I was like, man, you guys are awesome. And I yelled out really loud. I'm like, ladies, single ladies, if you're looking for a good mate, a good breeding partner, I suggest any of these men over here. They're really great. They're strong men. They'll give you good babies. Another reason why you should never give a crazy guy with an orange hard hat the mic. So that was probably my funnest time I had. The most memorable and like the most like just awesome moment was probably the time when I met Big George, George Riviera. Mm-hmm. You know who that is?
I don't know.
He's the biggest guy to ever do Worlds. The guy is huge. He's 300 plus pounds. He's got to be at least 60 to 75 pounds overweight. Okay? Mm-hmm. The guy is massive, and he's probably the strongest dude I've ever seen in my life. The dude is like, he lives at the gym. He lives, eats, breathes the gym. And I met him at Glen Ellen parking lot at like 5:30. We're both the first people to get to the parking lot. He parks his car, and I mean, I look at this guy, I'm like, oh, damn, this guy's scary looking, I'm like, damn, this guy's huge, and he comes over and he's like, hey, man, how's it going? I see that you got a World's Toughest Mudder sticker on your car. I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah. He's like, dude, I'm going to do that this year. I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome, man. Just like I do everybody, I don't judge. I just say, I give everybody encouragement, but 9 times out of 10, those people don't show up. Do what they say they're going to do. Mm-hmm. George was different, though, because George did what he said he was going to do. That's why I love that guy. He's like my brother, dude. He's so awesome. And I found out he lives in Oxnard, which is the next city over. So he's my 805 brother. And he came with us. He rode with us in my car to Worlds and stayed with us and did his first Worlds with us in 2015. And he did really well. He did 3 laps, and he got beat up pretty bad, but he did it. Mm-hmm. And I was super, super proud of him. Just the guy he just doesn't give up, and he never makes excuses. He's just a big freaking teddy bear too. The guy's just super cool. Like he is a professional bodyguard. He's a professional dude that goes and beats people up. And when he gets out there on course and stuff on Tough Mudder, it's his outlet to be like, loving and helping everybody over the obstacles and stuff. And the guy is just awesome. I love that guy. And so that time I met him at Glen Ellen was really special to me, because then he reached out to me a few weeks later on Facebook, and he found me, and we he's like, yeah, dude, I'm all registered. I'm like, great. I got him into the group, and and we did some training together, and I gave him some pointers on some stuff that he should have and what he should have and what he shouldn't bring, and we spent World's Toughest Mudder 2015 together, and he also came out with us again in 2016, and he's just a great dude, and so funny. The first thing he said when he got in the car when we picked him up, he's like, when this last time in 2016, he's like, all right, dude, it's time to do some selfies. It's selfie time. It's just funny because the guy looks like super tough, super scary, and then for him to say like selfie time, it's just really funny. And he's like really, he loves SpongeBob and stuff. It's just funny. But yeah, I love that guy. That guy's great. That was probably my most special moment at a Tough Mudder event, was when I met him, when I met George. So,
what's the lowest point you've ever had with Tough Mudder?
I don't really have a lowest point. I've always enjoyed Tough Mudder. I just have so much fun there because I get to see all my Mudder family, and and just I got my boom box and we're rocking the course, and I just love everything about Tough Mudder. It's just a great thing. I don't really have a low point. No.
So you wear a helmet every time you do a Tough Mudder, bright orange helmet. What's the story with that?
So it's funny because that actually started in Spartan, and I don't know why, but the Spartan Sprint in Malibu was in December, and it was raining when I got to the course, and for some silly reason I was like, I don't want my head to get wet. So I had my construction hard hat, which was a black hard hat at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear this through the course. And I got my boom box. I had my boom box then too. I'm coming to the course. You got these people that are serious. They're like got their game face on. They're like, roar, they're like, I'm gonna crush this course. And then here I am strolling up, la 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 la, and I got my hard hat on. And I got my boom box. I'm blasting my music. What's up? What's up, people? Who wants to rock? Just like
it's funny.
I don't fit there at all. Anyway, I did the whole course, and that's where I met Marion Powell. She's amazing. She lives in Las Vegas. She's like my OCR bestie. She's super cool. But I wore my hard hat through that whole course, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I was like, oh. So then I started getting hard hats for specific events. So like after that, I went back to Tough Mudder, so I got an orange hard hat. And then I did Battle Frog, so I got a green hard hat. Mm-hmm. So it was just that's just how it started, and ever since then I've been wearing my hard hat, and I always wear my hard hat when I run. And it's just more of just my way of saying to the world, like, F you, I'm going to do whatever I want. And I kind of like to just shock people, because people, they'll be like, oh, why you wear that? And I'm like, safety first, and I just run on, I just keep going. Just like to just do my own thing, really. So
you posted a video of your trip to Disneyland.
All right, let's go. Come on. Excuse me. Tender, coming through. Excuse me. Tender, coming through. Excuse me. Tender, coming through.
Can you tell me about that?
Oh, yeah. So I got my bib on, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was Dapper Day at Disneyland, okay. And I guess that's a big deal because everybody's like really dressed to the nines.
They dress up like for the 20s or 30s too.
Yes. So everybody's really dressed up and they look really good. And here I am. I got a brown bib on, and I got my World's Toughest Mudder headband on. I really just don't fit in.
No helmet?
No helmet. No, not at Disneyland. I was just it just worked out perfectly. Me and my wife and my daughter were in line at Small World, and they were already in the line all the way to the top, right?
Right.
And because this is the thing you don't see in the video, that people just see me cutting through line, which. And anyway, I got my son there. My son's 20, and
thank you.
He's there with me. We get to this line. My wife's already up there. So the kind of like the unspoken rule is that as long as your significant other is up in the line, you can cut through.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. Is I just cut through that line, that whole line. I went through the whole thing, and all you see is like the attendant, like, oh, let me open this for you so you can get through faster. I'm like, oh, thank you, Contender coming through. And my son is just embarrassed. He is so embarrassed. It's like, I'm sorry, my dad's crazy. I don't know what to do. I'm not, I didn't want to do this. And people, are giving us looks. Some people said a few things. And,
it's literally insane.
And we get all the way to the out, and it just worked out to where my wife was like right at the end. So it just looked like we just cut through, but it was just kind of funny. So
that video just destroys me every time I watch it, because you're just like contender coming through, and the crowds just part. Like everyone's like out of your way, and you're just I'm clearly you're acting like you belong, and if you keep walking, they'll move out of your way. But oh man, it's hilarious. Hey, Melissa Dugan said I should ask you about walking sticks.
Oh, yeah. So I use hiking sticks, and it's not because I have knee problems. It's because I don't want to get knee problems. And the other thing is that my arms, they get kind of jealous because if they don't have anything to do, they're just like there. So like the walking sticks help my upper body a little bit and also help my knees. So like today I did a half marathon around town, and I had my walking sticks, my poles.
Sure. And
they were great. They always work great. I love using them. And then I got a Camelback where I throw my boom box in there, and just blast my music, and I go.
You use them while you're actually like running and using.
Yeah.
This?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to at first, but once you get your rhythm down, it's really good. Like today, I just went balls out because I was a glutton for punishment today. I went and did half a marathon this morning, and then I did a 40-minute insanity workout with my boy Sean T. And then after that, I went to the treadmill, my little treadmill over here and I did another 6 miles on that while I was watching Mad Men. So today I did like 20 miles. So
that's quite the training day.
Yes, it was an intense training day. So very, very proud of the fact that I was able to do it. A lot of times I'll have these ambitious goals of what I'm going to do, and I just don't do it.
Uh-huh.
And I stuck with it this time. So yes, kiddies, even I get discouraged, and sometimes I give up, but I still get my miles in every month, no matter what.
How many miles do you try to do per month?
It varies. Depends on what I got going on. Like last month, I only did like 55. I barely got those miles in. But this month, I'm doing 90, and then next month I'll probably do something similar. I'll probably do 75, 80. I usually do right around there. So.
Do you like to do them in big chunks, like that 20 miles a day, and then, or is that normal, or how do you?
Well, I am like king procrastinator. There are certain expectations I need to fulfill, and I need to get my miles in no matter what. And a lot of times I procrastinate at the beginning of the month. And I have people calling me out early on. They're like, "Hey, Ian, hey," and I'm like, "You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right." But then sometimes they just throw a little, they just write a little post on my page. I'm like, "Hey, dude, that doesn't work. You need to make a video and post it on my page like I do. Okay, that's not gonna fly here. And hey, I'm gonna give you a shout out to Scott Daniel. He really took it to the next level. That guy was only signed up for 120 miles, and then he decided that he's going to go to 200 miles, and that's what he did last month. I was really, really impressed with him. He was just super, super awesome. Love that guy. Love you, Scott Daniel. Mad props, bro. Way to bring it. Way to come and show up and get it done. Yeah.
So what does 2017 look like for you with Tough Mudder and World's Toughest?
Well, since I basically shot my wad, so to speak, on this trip I just took because I spent thousands of dollars on it. So this year is looking pretty lean, unfortunately. And the only reason why I'm going to LA is because I already signed up for it last year. So, as far as any other Tough Mudders, I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how things go. And I'm not even signed up for Worlds. So, and I say this every year. I'm like, well, I may not go to Worlds. Who knows? But and everybody knows I'll be there.
Special thanks to Drake for appearing in this episode. Well done, Drake. Sorry it took so long to get you on the podcast. Keep an eye out for our extra episode this week with a course preview of Arizona and a special talk with Cassie Harris. And if you want more World's Toughest shenanigans, check out the new episode of Pissing Cocks on YouTube. Thanks a lot, you guys.